Less than a couple of days ago, we saw Devon Larratt compete at Armwars on the left arm. The event was Dark Card 2. $6 pay-per-view. Pay-per-view link will be in the description. Please purchase if you haven't already, or if this video is able to hype you up enough to watch the event. So in this video, we will discuss the results of all the matches, and after that, I'll be giving the event a rating out of 5 based on 10 different metrics. So that's going to be really amazing. First time I think it is being done in arm wrestling, and I'll try to continue it as a trend, as a series, I would say. So getting 4 matches out of Devon in less than a year, in just a matter of few months, I think hats off to Armwars for that. They've been receiving some heavy criticism from me and from many others in the past, but getting 4 matches out of Devon, seriously, within a matter of months, that's really cool, and that needs to be appreciated. With that being said, now let's move on to the review, and not everything will be appreciated here. As you guys know, I'll call out some things that needs to be called out. So first match, Kevin Palco versus Craig Sanders. That was not the part of the membership pay-per-view. It was free to watch, kind of a hype-up event for the pay-per-view, for exciting us to buy the pay-per-view, I would say. And that was probably the best match of the night. So that was really cool. That was really amazing. Kevin Palco from USA won the Arnolds this year versus Craig Sanders, the Birmingham Bullet, the veteran. I would say Craig Sanders had way too much speed. That's one word that can describe this match: speed. The second word would be cupping, way too much cupping, and side pressure, way too much experience. Overall, a complete package from Craig Sanders. So it looks like this can be a mismatch, just considering these things. But Kevin Palco was not willing to give up, and his unwillingness to quit probably gave us the best match of the night. He was in this position throughout the match. So Craig was immediately as fast as Giannis Homolis, maybe even faster, immediately in this position. And there he worked on it. Kevin Palco was not giving up. He was forcing running fouls on Craig Sanders, and in one match he forced 2-3 fouls. That's how he got the win. So that was really amazing. The overall score was 5-1 for the Birmingham Bullet, Craig Sanders. But Kevin Palco, despite having nothing, he was in this position, didn't have enough back pressure to pull Craig Sanders out of his position and do something. He tried everything, but hats off, salute to that guy. Lost the match, but proved to be a warrior in that match. After that, the pay-per-view event started. I would say, first of all, this first match, Kevin Palco's match, was in 1080p, perfect quality, matching the standards of the Armwars expectations that we have. But after that, once the pay-per-view started, it was 720p, and there was a significant drop in video quality. We'll talk about this later on, because one out of the 10 metrics is about the video quality. After that, Daniel versus Terence Opperman. That was the first left arm match on the event, and this one was this was also a good match, I would say. Really good match. First 2 flash pins from Daniel. Terence couldn't do anything. The South African champion making a comeback, but couldn't do much in the first 2 rounds. After that, Daniel started getting stopped by Terence. It was in this position, he got stopped, but it didn't take him half a second to switch to a press and just take Terence down to the pad a couple of times. So the score was 4-0, the match was over. And at that point, Daniel should have laid down. He should have laid down, because he knew that if Devon won his match, he's going to face Devon in the finals, and he needs energy for that. But he kept on fighting. There is a rule in Armwars that states that you must pull all of the rounds. You cannot lay down. You have to give it all you have. But I don't think that rule is applicable in Battleground format. In Battleground, you can lay down the 2 rounds. That's the mistake that Daniel did. He kept on fighting, and Terence Opperman did a great job. He put the brakes on his opponent, and he beat him in the next 2 rounds. So he fought the final 2 rounds and still lost both of them, and got probably gassed out while doing these 2 rounds. That was a huge mistake from Daniel. And Terence Opperman, he did what was needed to do. He was not in a position to lay down, because he didn't know if he's going to be able to win the next match or not. So performing as well as he can in the first one was the priority. Did great job, absolutely great job. After that, Devon versus Mindaugas Dulskas. As expected, total domination from Devon. I've already uploaded a video about it. 6-0, nothing that Mindaugas can do against Devon Larratt. After that, we saw the next part of the event getting premiered, and it was Adam Johnston versus Elliot Eccles. Adam Johnston, dominant first round win. Elliot made a comeback, put the brakes on in a hook, and it started getting more and more comfortable towards the end. 5-1 victory for Elliot. The weights were not mentioned. They were mentioning light heavyweight in this match, and I don't know what the weight was for Kevin Palco versus Craig Sanders. I don't know what light heavyweight means. and most people don't know what the exact weight for that is. Maybe different leagues use different weights for featherweight, light heavyweight, heavyweight. I think the weight should have been mentioned. Okay, after that we saw the losers match, Terence versus Mindaugas. In that match, I think Mindaugas beat Terence in the first couple of rounds. Then once again, like a warrior, Terence Opperman was able to make a comeback. He was able to put the brakes on. And in that match, we saw hook, we saw top roll, we saw press. Amazing technical wizardry and resilience from Terence Opperman. Won the match 4 pins to 2. I think out of all of the athletes, except for Devon, of course, Terence did the best job there, despite not finishing in the top 2. He finished third, but I would say he applied everything he can. It was like he did not make any mistakes. He did the best that he could have done. So that's what I really like. Final, Devon versus Daniel. Nothing Daniel could have done. He was already gassed out, and he kind of fell to the pressure as well, I believe. He was not able to do anything against Devon, not even as much as Mindaugas. The biggest mismatch, and people are saying that it is getting painful to watch. That's how bad it was. So Devon is dominant, won both of the matches. We have to remember Devon's left is not at the level of his right, which would be not top 10 in the world, probably super heavyweights, but that's still really good. That's really good. You need better opponents. Now let's talk about the interesting topic. That was also interesting. Results are always interesting, but how much rating I'm going to give to this event. And this is a kind of a pilot project. First time I'm doing that. So the 10 metrics that I'll show you now that I'm going to be rating this event on, I may do some changes to that based off the suggestions or feedbacks that I get from you. So I may trim it down to 5, or maybe I'll keep 10. Let's see. Video quality. First of all, the Armwars video quality is amazing. They do have the best equipment available there, so we were expecting a good quality, which we got in the Kevin Palco match. But somehow I think YouTube may have played some restrictions, or maybe they didn't know how to upload the full quality file as a premiere. Something was off there. The video quality was significantly lower than the previous events, and it was in 720p. I would still give it a 4 out of 5. 4 out of 5 because 720p, let's be honest, you cannot really complain. But if you're watching it on a TV, I did try to watch it on TV just to make sure how the quality seems. And in the TV, it was visible. It was visible that the quality was not that great. On a phone screen, you wouldn't notice that much. It will be okay. Audio quality, I would say 4 out of 5 once again. Neil was doing a good job. There was no audio issues or nothing. 4 out of 5. Not the best audio that you're going to see or hear, I should say, but 4 out of 5. Commentary. I think there should be 2 commentators. Neil was the only one, and thankfully, maybe there wasn't enough time, or maybe Neil listened to the criticism or feedbacks. There were no voiceovers like Neil explaining everything with his face on the screen, most of which it is already clear to the fans. So there was none of that this time, and Neil was the only commentator, so I would say I'll give it a 4 out of 5. 2 commentators would have been better. Maybe they would have got a 4.5. So not that much of a difference. Matchmaking is seriously important while selling a pay-per-view. Matchmaking was not good, although we saw 3 good matches, or 4 maybe. 3 at least, yeah, we saw 3 good matches, including the Kevin Palco match, but Devon was the main attraction, and his matches were complete mismatches. So matchmaking cannot get a high rating. 2.5, I would say. Level of matches. That's really important. The level of caliber of athletes. That's what I mean by level of matches. Although Devon was there, and it is Devon's left arm, not his right arm, but other arm wrestlers, at least on the card, were not highly ranked in the world. So I would give it a 3 out of 5 just because we got 2 matches from Devon on the card. And now refereeing. Refereeing is a really important critical aspect. I would say the refs did a really cool job. They were great. I did not hear any criticism, any complaints, nothing. If we don't hear criticisms, it means the referees did their job. But still, I will deduct 1 mark out of 5. I'll give them 4. Despite being cool, calm, no troubles at all, still I saw some things. They were allowing too much movement in the referee's grip in a couple of matches. Then like the shoulders not being squared and stuff. And after that, I saw one match where it was in a referee's grip, and then somebody was, I think Craig Sanders was on a running foul. He pinned his opponent. Then the match started without a referee's grip. If I remember the rules correctly, at least in WAF it is that way. If the match is in a referee's grip and the restart happens, the restart is also in a referee's grip. So maybe the referees forgot that, or maybe Armwars has a different set of rules. So that's kind of a 50-50. I'm also not sure about what Armwars stands for in such situations. Not a big deal, but I believe that referees should know everything. That's not that big of a deal. That's not that difficult of a job. And there was one round where Devon was pulling back and the strap came undone, and still it was given as a pin to Devon, although it clearly should have been a restart. But I think the referees thought that it doesn't matter, Devon is going to win anyways. That's why to finish it early, they gave it as a win to the man himself. No limits, Devon Larratt. One more thing that I noticed, it was when Craig Sanders in that same round when he was on a running foul. After that, he lifted his elbow to get a restart, and they were following a 3-foul system. So they were following a 3-foul system, and what they should have done, in my opinion, they clearly say that the elbow lifts if it is a big foul, then it should be a restart. It should be a restart. It should be a foul and a stop. But let the Jets pass by. Okay, it should be a restart. But they gave it straight away a win to Kevin Palco. Now I would love for the rules to be that way. That's the best thing. You cannot just lift your elbow up like that and get a restart, even under running foul system. But I don't think that's what the rules say. And that was the second foul, not the third foul. The rules say that if the foul is big enough, significant enough, it's a restart. It doesn't say that it can be given as a loss. Maybe they considered it as a professional foul or something, like what they introduced after that javelin move. In that case, that will also be okay. But there were clearly some small mistakes from the referees. So 4 out of 5, I think it's a good rating. Nobody should complain about that. You know how heavily I criticize the referees. I'm really strict about that. So 4 out of 5 is a really, really awesome rating. Ease of buying and watching the pay-per-view. Nothing is easy than buying a YouTube membership. You don't even have to buy it many times. It can be given to you as a gift sometimes during live streams. So easy to buy, easy to watch. YouTube is the perfect platform. I am glad they chose it. 5 out of 5. Value for money. Devon was competing, but the other matches were not that great. The pay-per-view was cheap, $6 only. So I would give it 4 out of 5. Just because Devon was there. If he wasn't there, then maybe still it would have gotten 3.5. It's $6 only, so 4 out of 5. Pre-match hype, that is really important in today's world. Only 2 out of 5. That was one of the biggest mistakes that Neil Pickup made. There are some videos, the members-only interviews, pre-match interviews. Those are kind of advertisements for the final product, in my opinion. They should be used as advertisements because they were hidden to the members only section, and that's not a good idea. That should have been available to the public so that they can get excited and buy more pay-per-views. That's a huge mistake that they made. That's a big mistake that those guys made. So that's kind of unfortunate as well. And I hope you get what I'm trying to say. I hope you understand it, because those were precious things. If they were shown to the general audience, they would have bought more pay-per-views. That was definitely hurting Neil Pickup. And who hides Devon's opponents? If you hide Devon's opponents, how is the hype going to be created? That's why there was no hype. In this event, you can see there were only 312 likes on the video. So maybe 1,000 to 1,500 people bought the pay-per-view. That's a really low number for Devon Larratt. In the previous Andre Say This event, you see 1,400 likes on the video. So probably 5,000-6,000 bought that pay-per-view. But not this one. Why? Because the opponents were unknown. Devon is a gem. He's an attraction, and you want to hype Devon's opponents as much as you can. So hopefully, and I get the sponsors part. They had a sponsorship competition going on, but the sponsorship competition could have been changed. Let's be honest. It could have been changed. Post-match hype is also important. Nobody's talking about the event. Why? Because maybe they haven't watched it yet. So I would give it a 1.5 out of 5. So combining all of these things, this event on Arm Wrestling News ratings gets a 3.5 out of 5. Please let me know if you agree with it or not, and please let me know if you agree with the feedbacks that I gave to Neil, to Armwars or not. And your feedback is also equally important, so please mention it in the comment. You do know that Neil Pickup is going to be watching this video, so please leave some thoughtful and interesting comments. Like the video if you liked it, dislike if you disliked it, and subscribe to the channel if you want more content like that. And I'll see you again.